This is Mr. Burley, York Catholic District School Board. In this video, I'm going to show you with Photopea the power of and the cool effects that we can make with masks. Masks are a way to allow us to edit the picture non-destructively, or the photo non-destructively, meaning that the original is preserved. And so we'll get started here. I'm going to bring in this image. And I'm going to name the background. So first of all, I'm going to duplicate the layer. I'll come down here, and there's a couple of different ways you can duplicate. You can drag it down here. It's easy enough, and you can see this little right there, the one beside the garbage bucket. If you grab that, it'll make a duplicate layer. And so we're going to double click this one, and I'm going to call this one non-destructive. So in other words, that'll be the original image. And then I'm going to switch that. I'm going to bring that one up here, and I'm going to change this one to that. And now I'm going to hide the non-destructive layer. Okay, so there's the reason we're doing this is if I was to come in here right now and I highlighted this area right here, and then I went delete, that is permanently gone. I can't bring that back. So, and with Photopea, you're only allowed as a free user, we're only allowed 30 edits, meaning 30 undos. So if we've got a whole bunch of stuff done to the image and we decide we want to go back, we can't. We've destroyed the image. So the masks allow us to, and I'm just going to go Control Z and bring that back. The masks allow us to work non-destructively like that by putting on another layer. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I want to take this here. I'm just going to, so we can employ a couple of different masks. We can use a vector mask, or a raster mask. And in this case, we're going to use raster mask. So what we'll do is we'll come down here, new mask, and you can see right here is new mask, add mask. And you can see right away it puts it beside the destructive panel here, or the destructive. This is its own. So if you click Alt and touch that, click it, this is the mask that we're going to be using. So Alt back and we can see the image. So this is masking this. So in this situation, we can use a couple things. We can if we use black, if we come in here and click black and then grab the paintbrush tool, and let's make the paintbrush tool to a big size, something like this. And now we come in, as long as this is selected like this, and we come in here, what we're doing is we're deleting part of the mask, or deleting part of the image. It's actually not, because we're just deleting the mask, but this is where if you use white, it will remove things that you don't want to see. So say, for instance, we didn't want that in the image. Now, if you want to come back and switch it to white, the same tool, now we come back and we can brush over things and we can bring it back. This is nice if you're editing and then you think, oh, you know what, I don't really want that island to be gone. So you can just sort of come back and bring it back into the image. So there's a couple different ways to do that. We can use black to hide or remove, and then the white to bring it back and reveal everything. So the white is basically revealing all. And I'm just gonna go back and clean this up nicely. And then the black, then we can use one other color, which is gray. And if we go here, I'm going to click on this screen here. If I click down in this box, now I'm going to choose gray. Sometimes it's not there, so you just type 80, 80, 80 into the hex. Now, if I come in here with gray and start doing this with the gray and come back to my image, so I'm going to hide the height. I'm going to come back here now. Now, when you bring the image in, you can see what's happening. It's creating like a transparent effect. So the black, if you come back in here with the white, it reveals it. If you come back in here with some black, like so, black wipes it out completely, and then the gray makes it sort of transparent. So I'm going to undo these few little options I've done here, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete this. Oops, wrong color. I'm going to grab some white and come in here with the white and clean that up with the white. Now you can use one other thing here. We can use the gradient tool. So we can come over here, and it's there, click here. And if we select the top one is white and the bottom one is black, when we come in here with we grab our gradient tool. If we drag it from here up to here like this, it'll do a gradient out. And you'll see what happens. It's kind of fading it out. So there's different things we can use. We can use the white to bring to bring stuff back, black to take stuff out, gray to make it a nice transparent or a semi-transparent look to it, and then the gradient tool we can use to do the this look, this effect that we have now. Another thing, I'm going to undo this. Control Z, sorry, we're Canadians. All right. Back, clean that up. So bring that back now. Get the white color. Grab my paintbrush tool and just blend that back in and bring that back. So whenever you want to do, if you want to switch on to here, like that, this is again showing us our mask. And then this is we can right click here, we can disable masks. So if we've done some work to the stuff, Control Z, let me just go back to where we were at. If I come over here and I right click on this, I can disable the mask so say, oh, let's for a second, let's go back here. We're going to go here, Alt. And I'm going to click on this and bring the mask up. And now I'm going to come over in this panel right here and I switch to black. And I'm going to get something fairly large, like maybe something like that. And I'm going to come back in here now. And if I click this right here, I create a black dot. Now, if I go back to here and go Alt this and hide it, you can see what I've done there. I've taken part of the sky out. Now, up in this layers panel here, so we can click this over, properties. And if you look, this is the density of this particular thing that we just removed. So if I drag it all the way here, it's like there's no filter at all, or there's no layer at all, or no mask. And as I bring it back, it kind of blends it in. So it changes the opacity of it. The feathered edge, what it does is it blurs between the edge of the circle and the sky to give it a more real effect. So you can play around with that and you can kind of start to see where it starts to look realistic. And it gives it more of a defined look to it. So there's a couple things you can do. You can take these layers and you can drag that. So if I'm going to go here, first of all, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to right click this one. I'm going to drag them down here. I'm going to give myself another layer. And you can now, if you want to, you can come in here and you can delete. You can right click. Now you make sure if you click delete this, it deletes the whole layer. But if you right click here, you can disable that mask so it's gone, or it's at least disabled. You can re-enable it. You can right click it. You can delete that mask. So we have no mask again. I'm going to bring it black. You can delete this one. So say I wanted to delete this raster mask, and then you can drag masks back and forth from layers to layer, from layer to layer, like so. Or another thing you can do is if you hold the Alt key down, you can drag down and it'll copy the exact mask on the other one. Okay, so that's the next step. I'm going to now create something. Let me undo this. So now what I'm going to do, there's another. So we've gone through that. Let's look at this. If you come up here, I'm going to grab the selection tool. Here, I'm going to use the quick selection. I'm going to come down. It takes a few seconds. Image analysis. For some reason, it takes a little bit to do this, but no big worries. Once that's finished, I'm going to come in and select the woman walking up the beach. So I'm going to come in here and select here. I'm not going to worry about doing too good of a job selecting, to be honest with you, because it's just for demonstration purposes. But I'm going to come in here and add this. I want to get her feet. And I can see a little bit of that's there, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. So now, if I come up here to the layers panel, and you come down to raster mask, there's a couple of different. If I add reveal all, that means that's the same way as we did it before on the other one. Then there's hide all, so it hides everything. So if you're painting with white, it hides. Down here, reveal selection, or down, we can hide selection. So if I go reveal selection here like this, what happens now is it just cuts out the woman. If I go to, now I'm going to go back, Control Z, get my selection back, layer, raster mask, hide selection. Now it hides the selection. So I want to shut off, one of the things that's making it look a little confusing, let me go back to here for a second, is that this is still turned on. So let's shut that off. So right now she's gone with this particular situation, because what I want to do is I want to create another shadow of her, making it look like it's walking back. So the other is, so if I went back here to layer, raster mask, and I click the opposite, Control Z, shut that off, and do it. So in this particular situation, what I want to do is I want to hide her. So I'm going to hide this guy out of here. Control Z, take that out of there. I don't know why it's making it so big, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to hide the selection of her. This one here is hidden now. So if I turn that off, I'm going to come up here, layer, raster, hide selection, and now she's gone. And now what I can do is I come over here, I can go down to this, I'm going to make sure this is highlighted, and I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to add a new, go into here, hue or color fill. I'm going to take color fill. So this is what do you call it, layer, adjustment layer. So create a new adjustment layer, color fill. I'm going to drag this below her like so. I'm going to then change the color. So now analysis, just a second. It'll take a second. I'm going to double click this. I'm going to change the color to black. Click OK. Now, if I have this highlighted right now, if I go here and I want to move over, every time I move this, I don't know why my computer's running slow today. Usually it doesn't take this long to analyze the image, but today it is doing it. If I grab it here and I went like this, I move the whole thing back and forth. And I don't want that. I just want to move the woman herself, the shadow, to make it look like there's a shadow following her. So all I do with this is, if you look right here, there's a link between these two guys here. Take that link out, make sure this one's selected, and then move this over this way. And I'm going to make it look like they're holding hands. That looks kind of cool effect. And now I can move that separate to wherever I want. And when you're done with that, you can just relink it, and now it'll move together as one whole thing. Okay, so that's another possibility you can do with possible thing you can do with the raster masks. So there's really powerful effects. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, as I said before, you can come in here, you can delete raster masks. You can disable them. I can go like this and disable it. I can bring it back. I'm not working destructively. I'm not destroying my original image. The original image is still right there, and it's perfectly. If I turned it on and then disabled these things, you can see my original image is perfect. So come back. Okay, so now I'm going to show you one other thing. I'm going to go back here, leave, and then I'm just going to open it up new again. And this is a real cool thing we can do with the masks. Another cool thing is we can work with adjustment layers in the masks. So we come in here like this, and so say I wanted to play with this image. So if I come in here right now and I click on this thing here, I'm going to zoom it out a bit so I can get the whole thing. And I came down into here, I windowed this whole thing in like that. And then I took a paint bucket tool. Let me back up a step. What I should have shown you is this. Click on down here, new adjustment layer. We're going to do hue saturation. Now, this is the whole image is there and present. So if I grab the hue, you can see everything I'm doing is affecting the entire image, is being affected by the saturation and the hue and so on. If I only want to affect one part of it, I can come over here. I can use my selection tool. I'm going to come down through here with the selection tool, choosing black to mask it out, so to not affect it. Clicking my paint bucket tool, I'm going to paint in this area here. It says I can't do it because I got to be on this one here to do that. So paint bucket tool, fill this in. Now when I play with it, you can see only the top is affected with that hue layer. Now say I want to add that into the selection as well. All I have to do is come here, grab another selection tool, come down into here, and that's a little too high. I don't want to go that high. I don't want to affect that whole thing. I just want to affect this. So I come in, select it. Now using my paintbrush tool, I come in, I'm going to get a small paintbrush tool. That's 15, that's pretty good. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to paint that area black. So this is selected black. I can come in here and I can adjust the hue. Then when I come in, you can see that's not affecting that area. So I come back and I'm revealing that area. So that's how you can select different areas like that and paint them back in, and then they won't be affected by the overall thing. So you could select her hat and paint her hat so that it's not affected as well. And so now you can see the cool effects we get moving stuff around. It looks pretty neat. Lightness. So it's only affected up there. The opposite's true. If I wanted to highlight this, I didn't want this to be affected, but I wanted the water to be affected, and then I would do the opposite situation. Okay. Well, that's the power of masks and the power of working with masks on an adjustment layer. And thanks for watching.